they can see that. They can see all the
Yeah.
different accounts that you're, applying for, and they can't tell if you are approved or if you're not approved.
That part. Yeah.
But they can just see that you did apply
Yeah.
for something. And in their world, it's like, okay, did they apply for a credit card or did they apply for a personal loan? If it's a personal loan,
Yeah.
that's going to work into your debt, a million different things. So
Mhm.
I now had a rap sheet of, because I applied for a Capital One card, and we know historically, depending on, I guess, what state you're in, they'll pull.
Applying for many credit cards almost cost you getting a home. What happened there?
That's right. So behind me, I have, we're still moving in. We still got some lamps. If anybody wants to buy a lamp, or I'll give it for free. Actually, if you want to, I'll ship it over to you.
There you
I
go.
got, I got another one on the side. So I'm in a house now. It's my first house I ever bought. Kudos to some great info. Calvin's got some great info. A bunch of people on YouTube got great info. So
Yeah.
finally, I was able to buy my first house. And one thing that I found throughout the process, going through all the loan documents and
Yeah.
getting pre-approved and finding a house and putting an offer in and all those different things, and especially from my side, since I'm a realtor here in South Carolina, I actually like represented myself to buy this house. So this way I was able to
Mm.
earn my own commission by representing myself. It was a whole big thing and a big learning experience. But one thing I learned specifically for credit cards, and the fact that I am a person who's maybe abnormal to most banks, like most people aren't getting like 15 to 20 different credit cards in the span, a couple of years, something like that. So when I came through going for a home loan, some things were different than I read online. In fact, I never even knew about this whole thing until I went through the whole application with my lender.
Mm.
So essentially what happened was, I guess if you apply for a lot, and correct me if I'm wrong because you're way more experienced, but
Yeah.
if you apply for a lot of different credit cards in the span of, like they said, 3 to 6 months, something like this, prior to a mortgage application, they can see that. They can see all the
Yeah.
different accounts that you're, applying for, and they can't tell if you are approved or if you're not approved.
That part. Yeah.
But they can just see that you did apply
Yeah.
for something. And in their world, it's like, okay, did they apply for a credit card or did they apply for a personal loan? If it's a personal loan,
Yeah.
that's going to work into your debt, a million different things. So
Mhm.
I now had a rap sheet of, because I applied for a Capital One card, and we know historically, depending on, I guess, what state you're in, they'll do 3 hard pulls. So all 3 credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, they will pull all 3 of those bureaus. So on my rap sheet, my my mortgage loan application, it showed 3 different pulls. Almost looked like 3 separate loan applications, just because I applied for one Capital One card because I thought it was a good deal. Also, a couple of these Chase business cards also showed up on that account. And so what they wanted was, they said, okay, what is this? Is this a personal loan? I
Yeah.
said, no, it's not. Okay, so I had to check that off. And then I had to provide a letter of explanation showing that
Hallelujah.
who I am, the fact that I'm on YouTube, or I talked to my lender, like, I'm on
Yeah.
YouTube. Luckily, my lender already knew who I was, but
Yeah.
talking about that, I'm on YouTube. I get these credit cards for the welcome offers. I use it for everyday spend. It's the breaks.
Imagine explaining that though. Like,
Yeah,
so
I don't trust you.
I got it, but I do it for my YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's not. Listen, it's not
Yeah.
nefarious, right? I'm public about this, okay?
Yeah.
Um, so they want you to explain yourself, essentially. So this way, and the lender can say, like, okay, that's great and fine, but now let's send it to the underwriter. Let's see what
Yeah.
they think about this. And if you
Yeah.
have a really stringent underwriter, from what I understand, they can decide to deny you because they just don't want to trust you. They say, oh, there's something nefarious happening here. Luckily,
Yeah.
mine didn't really care much. He was just like, okay, here's the letter. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. And eventually they put the loan through. But that was very eye-opening to me, that
Mm.
all of these credit card applications in the last 3 to 6 months would come back to maybe bite me if I was in a worse situation. Luckily, it didn't. But it was interesting.
Yeah. Wow, man. And you know what? I'm so glad that you had shared that, because there are people, especially right now, or probably going into homeownership very soon, especially like in 2025, and they don't know that applying for X amount of credit cards, or really just getting the bank inquiries,
Yeah.
have like so recently. And you mentioned it, you were spot on, because the banks, they don't know if you were approved or denied. They don't know what you applied for specifically.
Yeah.
And we know, especially within that 30 to 45-day window, it's not on the credit report yet. So they don't
Mhm.
know. They got to go by your word,
Yeah.
and sometimes they may ask for an LOE, and also known as a letter of explanation, so you can explain why the inquiries are there, or
Mm,
what your plan is, because that can easily throw off your DTI, your debt to income
yeah,
ratio, and things of that sort. So most definitely, most definitely. So
absolutely.
okay, awesome. All right, and then I did have another question as well. Obviously, you got the house, so congratulations to you.
Thank you,
All
man.
right.
Thank you.
All right. So now here's the thing: American Express credit cards. People have been talking about this probably, like, man, fairly recently.
Hmm.
People are canceling cards.
Yeah.
People are like, I am done with American Express. I mean, what, 6 months ago, 12 months ago, it was a different story. What has happened with American Express?
Man, so so it's funny. I think even last time I was on over a year ago, I think
Yeah.
we were talking up like Amex a little bit. We were
Yeah.
like, yeah, some pretty cool cards. Still some people get in the game and like learning all the value. But I don't know. I think it's over the past year. I think it was kind of one of those situations where over time, annual fees raise, and we all expect it. But when it actually happens, everyone starts reevaluating. So, like the Amex Gold card, one of the most popular cards in the world, that since we've last spoken, maybe just a few months ago, the annual
Yeah.
fee was raised from 250 to 325,
Mhm.
$75 increase, and they've added some credits to it to offset that, like an $84 Dunkin' credit that a lot of people made
Mm.
fun of and mocked. They were like, "What is this? Is this prestige anymore? The Amex Gold, or are we
Yeah.
just?" I don't know. But some people found a lot of value in Dunkin', a Resi Credit, which is a, reservation booking platform, all these different things. But I think it was that. I think it's also with the advent of credit card YouTube, and so many people talking about so many different options, like the Capital One Venture X is like, the premium side of Capital One, and you still have that lounge access, but an easier to justify credit card based on the annual fee. It's like a $395 annual fee, but they give you a $300 credit. Or maybe some people are looking at the high end of Chase, like the Chase
Yeah.
Sapphire Reserve, and maybe they see value in that. And they look at the Platinum card, like, oh, I'm paying $700 a year. And really, what am I paying for? I mean, I'm paying for lounge access. Like when I
Yeah.
go to if I'm flying Delta, I get to the Delta Sky Club for free. If I'm flying, there's a Centurion Lounge from Amex. I can get to go there. But they really started reevaluating the last year, myself included. That's why I canceled my Platinum card, is for
Mm.
that very reason. Is like, yeah, I could use the $200 hotel credit, but more often than not, when you're booking through that way, you're
Yeah.
actually overpaying. You end up paying for a
Mm.
hotel that's $300-$400, where you just
Wow.
don't have to do that using some other programs. Uber Eats, you could just go buy your food and save a couple dollars. Like all these different credits on the card. So people are just kind of really thinking like,
Yeah.
there's so many other cards out there that maybe have a less annual fee
Yeah.
that they can justify easier and don't have to worry about the hassle of all these different credits. I think that's been the main issue over the past year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so just yeah, with everyone reevaluating, everyone's like, listen, I just don't need it anymore, myself included. That's why I
Yeah.
canceled my Platinum, and
Wow.
I'm likely to cancel the Gold come February when the annual fee comes around. So I'll be left with like no annual fee. That's crazy.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
That's
Hmm.
crazy, man. Wow. And you know what, man? You know what? Obviously, American Express is a huge, player in the credit
Yeah.
card space, and with so many people making that decision, I see them making some changes. Obviously coming soon. But with you canceling, quite a few of those credit cards, or of course, just the most recent one, like with the Platinum, how
Yeah.
many credit cards do you have now?
So open and active.
Open and
Uh,
we know what? Let's go with open and active. But then, how many have you had if you wouldn't have closed any?
I think if I didn't close any, man, I'd have to redo my tally, but it would probably be over 20.
Okay.
Maybe
Wow.
like
Okay.
just over
Gotcha.
20. Maybe like
Yeah.
I think, or maybe right at 20. I think it's
Yeah.
right around there. I'm
Okay.
so bad because I'll just keep running it, and I'll forget
Yeah.
to re-look at them. Open and active now, it might be closer to like, I don't know, 13, 14,
Gotcha.
something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
And I think the only annual fee cards I will, well, come if I cancel the Gold, we'll put that caveat. If I do cancel in February, I think the only annual fee card I'll have would be the Chase Sapphire Preferred at 95 a year,
Hmm.
and then also the Amex Delta Gold Business Card at 150 every single year. But that card is that Delta Gold is like one that I just find value in, at least for the foreseeable future. I'm probably just going to keep that open for a little bit. Yeah, so it's crazy because just like when we last spoke, I probably was paying, closer to maybe $1,500 in annual fees, and now I'm dropping down to like 200, like in just
Wow.
a year. It's
Wow.
pretty
Yeah.
wild.
Money
Yeah.
saver too, man. That's most definitely a money saver.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and I try to be a little strategic. Like a lot of people, like I said, they have the platinum card for the lounge access, but I'm like, if I want it for lounge access, do I really have to keep it all year round? Like, do I really have to? So I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to be traveling until, at least I know for sure I'm not going to be flying until probably next year at this time, like November or no, next September, something like that. So I'm like, if I really care, I'll reopen it again when that time comes, in September. And this way I could have saved, I'm saving $700 this year, which is half my mortgage, almost. So, that's the way I look at it. It's like, if I could save some money for the mortgage now, this is the main thing that I'm worried about.
There you go. There you go, man. There you go. I didn't know you were in South Carolina too, man. How long you been in South Carolina?
I've been here, I guess 2.5 years now. Two
Okay.
and a half years. Yeah, I moved from New York.
Got you from New York, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. That is
Hmm.
what's up.
I
All
love
right,
it.
awesome, awesome. Well, listen, man. First off, thanks again carving out time, from your many businesses, your family, your own work schedule. Just dropping the gems and really just giving us the information that you've been sharing lately. We got to have you back. Of course, I got to have you back, man. So probably next month or something like that. There's been some other information that you've been talking about, as well. And you mentioned something about Capital One? What's going on with
Hmm.
Capital One?
So for Capital One, they revamped one of their cards. They changed the design on the Capital One Saver, and they've
Got it.
completely gotten rid of a category. There used to be a $95 Saver card.
Yeah.
Now they've basically just rebranded and got rid of the Saver One and the Saver Rewards, and now just have the Saver.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
$0 annual fee card. The
Yep.
welcome offer is elevated at the moment at 250 for 500 spends, so 50% return on your money.
Wow. Okay.
Along with that, I think what a lot of people, if your viewers are in the Capital One ecosystem, they're likely to have taken advantage of the Uber benefits. So Uber
Yeah.
One membership, like if you have the Quicksilver card, it was like a 6 month membership. The Saver is like a year or so, or something like that. Just know, mark your calendars. November 14th is when the partnership is to end. So a lot of people are preemptively canceling their Uber One membership, so this way they don't get charged for it, because it's good money in the event that it doesn't get reinstated. As far as we could see, and what I was going through was, it doesn't look like that partnership's going to be re-extended.
Yeah.
More often than not, these partnerships always do, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if it will, but just mark your calendars in case it doesn't, so you don't get charged for that Uber One, unless you
Absolutely.
love Uber One.
Mhm. Right. Right.
Then keep it.
There you go. There you go, man. Well, listen, thanks again, Anthony. We greatly appreciate your time. And thanks again, man, for stopping by.
Thanks for inviting me, man. I appreciate you always.
All right. All right.